The good news is rolling in for the Philadelphia Eagles as they exit the bye and begin their preparations to take on the Cleveland Browns at home here in Week 6. We're going to talk about that, but also coming up on today's Philadelphia Eagles Now, Nick Sirianni talks adjustments during the bye week and comments on what happened with Devin White. And could Nick Sirianni be fired if the Eagles lose this game to an awful Cleveland Browns team? Before we spread our wings and take flight, come on, I had to do it. It's Eagles Now. That's the show name. Hop on board right now and make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're the largest independently run Eagles channel right here on YouTube with 86,505 subscribers. Since the start of the year, we have picked up 6,400 new subscribers. Thank you to all of the new real ones who are supporting the program. And our goal for this year is to get that silver plaque from YouTube and reach 100,000 subscribers to really reach a special category and stratosphere among all channels on the YouTube universe. So if you want Eagles coverage every single day, be sure to hit that subscribe button. That good news rolling in for the Birds. Let's start off on the Eagles injury front because A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and Lane Johnson all returned to practice on Wednesday. A.J. Brown and Lane Johnson confirmed will play against the Cleveland Browns. Even though Devonta Smith was back on the practice field, he still has to clear concussion protocol, but the expectation is that Devonta Smith will play in this game. And the Browns offense, one of the worst units in the entire National Football League. Their defense, though, is pretty solid, although they have been hurt with Myles Garrett being injured. Let's begin with talking more in depth about A.J. Brown. One of the top wide receivers in the National Football League. He has a great rapport with Jalen Hurts, as evidenced by what we've seen them do as a quarterback wide receiver duo in 2022, in 2023, and in the first game of this year, the only game that A.J. Brown played. And that week against the Green Bay Packers, who, by the way, are a top 5, top 10 team in the NFL and have been hot since that Week 1 defeat and since overcoming some early season struggles, the Eagles scored 34 points in that game. But without A.J. Brown in the last 3, they've scored 21, 15, and 16 points. Going back to the wild card game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year when A.J. Brown was also hurt with that knee injury, Philadelphia's offense in that ugly loss only mustered 9 points. So he will go a long way in helping out this Eagles offense be the Eagles offense that they are capable of being. And more further details on that Week 1 matchup with Green Bay. The Birds obviously scored those 34 points as they eke out a win, but they put up 410 yards of total offense, and Brown popped off in that game. 10 targets, 5 catches, 119 yards, and that beautiful hookup from Hurts to Brown, which led to that 67-yard touchdown where Brown was able to beat Jair Alexander, and then on the foot race, able to pull away. And there's an issue here with Jalen Hurts. When you think about franchise quarterbacks, the job of a franchise quarterback, especially when they're making $50 million per year and they sign a contract worth $250 million like Jalen Hurts, is to carry the offense, to maximize their teammates, and to sometimes put the team on their shoulders and win when some of the quarterback star players are injured. Well, we're seeing right now that Jalen Hurts needs weapons and a legitimate supporting cast to be a successful quarterback. Is he a franchise guy? Is he a top 10 guy? I think the jury is out given his struggles over the last year and change. But obviously, Hurts is a much different player when he is surrounded with complementary pieces. As for the value of Lane Johnson, the Eagles are so much better with him in the lineup. He's a perennial All-Pro and Pro Bowler for a reason, but since he was drafted by Chip Kelly out of Oklahoma, the Eagles are so much better as far as wins and losses when he's in the lineup compared to when he's not in the lineup. And it's very rare for a right tackle to have this type of impact on how games are decided. But with Lane Johnson in the lineup, the Eagles have nearly a 63% winning percentage. They are 91-54-1 with him anchoring the right side of the line of scrimmage. Without Lane Johnson, that winning percentage drops from nearly 63% to sub 38%, and the Eagles are 14-23. And even though Lane is getting a little bit longer in the tooth, he's still playing spectacular football. Overall Pro Football Focus grade of 87.3. That's elite. So is the pass blocking grade at 87.9. Run blocking grade is 86. He's given up 0 sacks, 0 hits, 0 pressures allowed on 166 total snaps and 92 pass blocking snaps. It's almost as if the game moves slower for Jalen Hurts when he knows that Lane Johnson is protecting him at that right tackle spot. The game would move slower for me because I'm not having to worry about edge rushers just crush me in the pocket. And with Devonta Smith returning, hopefully, and it seems as though things are moving in that direction, Philadelphia gets back one of the best number 2 wide receivers in the NFL, who was off to a good start prior to suffering that concussion against the New Orleans Saints. And on a lot of other teams across the NFL, Devonta Smith is capable of being a number 1 guy. And he does play an important role in what Kellen Moore wants to do as the new play designer and play caller. You can line him up inside out of the slot. You can line him up outside. The Eagles had started to target him a little bit more over the middle of the field, which they didn't do last year, and they were utilizing him prior to getting injured as one of the heavy motion men on this Eagles offense. Last year, they were 32nd in pre-snap motion, and this year, they used Devonta Smith more pre-snap with some of that movement, which served as an indicator for Jalen Hurts for whether or not the defense was playing man or zone in a lot of instances, but also just trying to create confusion and exploit mismatches. If you think the Eagles will beat the Cleveland Browns in Week 6, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. If not, I want you to comment why. Preview to come later this week here on the channel. Today's sponsor, our friends at GameTime. If you're looking for the best seats at the lowest price guaranteed, a ticketing app where prices drop as the event gets closer, where you can get in the door and save money at the same time, but you maybe don't want to go to a sporting event. If you do, great, but you could also go to a concert, comedy show, theater event. GameTime is the app for you. I love how you can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. You can access tickets from your phone, and GameTime Picks is a tremendous feature because curation makes it easier to find the best seats at the lowest price guaranteed on all of these events. If you want to go to Eagles-Browns on Sunday at the Link, the joint is going to be rocking. Plenty of tickets available. You can catch an Eagles home game or an away game. So download the app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Terms apply. First purchase only. We'll put all of that information down below in the show notes and attached to the pinned comment of today's program. So the good news rolling in for the Eagles on the injury front, still to come. Nick Sirianni talking some bye-week adjustments, and could Nick Sirianni be fired if the Eagles lose this game against Cleveland? I have a lot of thoughts on that because fans are certainly discussing that subject matter. As far as Sirianni talking about the bye week, during the bye week and coming out of the bye week, the Philadelphia Eagles did release linebacker Devin White. Here's what Sirianni had to say about that roster move. Ever since Devin got here, I just thought that he was a really great pro. He handled everything with class. I know that was a hard situation for him to be in, a guy that started a lot of games in this league and has been successful in this league. And I can't say enough good things about Devin the person and how he handled a disappointing situation for him. And I think it just gives you perspective of how we feel about the rest of that linebacker room and the guys that we have in that room and how they've been executing and how they've been playing. And we look forward to continuing to grow those guys that we do have. As I've said here on the show, it's a good thing that you're getting contributions from a former third-round pick in Nakobe Dean. It's good that you hit on a bargain basement value free agent signing in Zach Bond. You've turned him into an off-ball linebacker and a good off-ball linebacker at that. It's a positive thing that Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who you drafted late in the draft here back in April, is climbing up the depth chart and is the top reserve off-ball linebacker. That means that you have confidence in him. Otherwise, you don't make this move to release Devin White. But you also gave him $3.5 million in guaranteed money, and he did not play a snap. And a lot of Howie Roseman's free agent moves on the defensive side of the football have looked like the Phillies' offense during the NLDS against the Mets. A lot of swing and misses and a bad approach. Adjustments after the bye. Let's turn the page to that from head coach Nick Sirianni here. He pointed to the turnover differential. The Eagles are -6, which was second to last going into the bye week, and missed tackles as two big issues to fix. Those are two big issues that Philadelphia does have to fix. They have to stop giving the ball away on the offensive side of the football, and Jalen Hurts has to clean it up. They have to tackle a little bit better, and going back to the turnover differential, they have to generate turnovers. And the Eagles could get a lift with tackling and with causing turnovers when Sidney Brown is able to come back. He tore his ACL last year against the New York Giants, and trainers have said that he is ready to go. The Eagles have opened his practice window, so he's eligible to start practicing and has been practicing. As for when he will be elevated to the active roster for a game day, we will certainly see. It could happen this week. It could happen for the foreseeable future. And then I want to round out with this. This is a common conversation over the last couple of days among Eagles fans. Will Nick Sirianni get fired if the Eagles lose to the Cleveland Browns? Sirianni is 3-0 in his head coaching career with Philadelphia coming off the bye, and you simply cannot lose this game. The Browns are an awful football team, especially on the offensive side of the football. Cleveland is 30th in points per game, 32nd in yards per game, 30th in points per play, 32nd in yards per play. Cleveland is dead last in third down conversion rate on the offensive side of the rock. And the Browns' offensive line is giving up 5.2 sacks per game, and that's been compounded by Deshaun Watson holding on to the ball too long and playing bad football. The Eagles cannot come out of the bye week looking sloppy. You've had 2 weeks of rest. You're going up against a team that you should dominate, and you're at home. And hopefully a healthy Eagles team is a good Eagles team, as A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and Lane Johnson are expected to be back. So what say you? Should the Eagles fire Nick Sirianni if he loses to the Browns? F for fire, K for keep. Share your opinions with me. And be sure to give me a follow on social media. In addition to the long-form content that I provide you with here on YouTube, I also put out a lot of short-form Eagles content on my social media pages. At Chase_Senior on X, so close to 14,000 followers. Let's do it for AJ Feely. And Instagram, past 33,000 followers.